oh man, this one's gonna be a doozy. This episode not brought to you by Coke Zero. Also, I realize now that this glass has a whole bunch of cocktail recipes on it. No, there's not anything in this glass other than Coke Zero and ice. Maybe there should have been. So, for those of you unaware of who Matt Howard is, I am incredibly sorry to burst your bubble on this one. It's not too late to click away.
Marion, don't look at it.
But for those of you still here, Matt Howard is one half of the Matt and Abby family vlog YouTube channel. They also have a podcast that's completely unrelated to this topic though. Also, for those of you unaware of this, family vlog channels are completely made up and comprised of parents who put unneeded and unnecessary pressure on their kids and put them into crazy situations and then film their reactions, or they just film their kids being kids and then blast it all over social media for clout and views. Yeah, I certainly don't have any strong or strongly worded opinions about this topic. I don't know what you're talking about. Thankfully, with the whole Ruby Frank or Ruby Frankie, don't really care how to say her last name, with that whole situation going on, a new documentary and all that sort of stuff, hopefully we will see this genre die out for good once and for all. Unfortunately, it probably won't ever fully die out because the parents of these channels make way too much money. Way too much money. But sidetrack aside, back to Matt. In recent history, he's been regarded as TikTok's most hated husband, but after a quick scroll down the Matt and Abby channel, which if I remember correctly, he is the one that runs, seeing the video topic and the video titles and thumbnails, I'm not shocked that he warranted this moniker. Like, it's really not hard to understand why he just, it's not great.
Not great, Bob.
But there's tons of videos about that. That's not what this video is about. So fully back to Matt. He went to college, at least in the beginning, for performing arts before switching his major. But he still has just that inner drive to be the center of attention and just up on stage, up on a platform, rocking out in front of tens of people. And in the past, he's released songs trying to really break into that space. But overall, if I had to drastically oversimplify his sound into like one common turn of phrase, he's basically a bargain bin Shawn Mendes in like every sense of the phrase. But yet at the same time, he lacks any and all skill to be able to actually pull off what Shawn Mendes does. You know, the thing called talent, kind of unheard of in the music space nowadays, but you know, some people still actually do have talent. Which I know for some of you who actually know me, it'd be interesting that it's like, what do you mean you're saying that someone in the pop music scene has talent? Listen, yes, Shawn Mendes is an incredibly talented singer. Now, there is still an argument to be made that his songs are overproduced, overblown, just kind of a lot happening in those songs. But at the same time, too, Shawn, if you listen to him perform live, he's still actually a really talented singer.
Please have mercy on me and take it easy on my heart.
He just is in the pop music like machine that just churns out really expensively produced songs that blow up on the radio because they paid to have them there. Totally different topic. I've actually made a video about the music industry as a whole. You can go watch that if you're at all curious. But that's not the point. And honestly, it didn't really click to me. Like, I thought that what Matt was going for sounded familiar as a whole, but I couldn't quite place why, until I unfortunately listened to enough of his songs that I got to his cover of Treat You Better by Shawn Mendes. Yeah, when I heard him try and sing that song, I'm like, oh, this is who he's trying to emulate in all of his other songs. Now, I listened to his songs in like the reverse order that they were released, like most recent to oldest, and that was an interesting trip because like I said, he wants to be Shawn Mendes, but he doesn't have the talent to be Shawn Mendes. And unfortunately, the video of his that I actually thought was the best music-wise was his cover of Treat You Better, which came out 8 years ago. I listened to his best song from 8 years ago, and then it just gets worse as you get closer to more present. But even back then, which I mean could be chalked up to inexperience and not really knowing what he was doing, because I mean there's always room to get better with stuff like this, but his tonality wasn't great. He was also playing the acoustic guitar, so that could also contribute to some of the problems that I'm getting ready to say, but still. He was all over the place, like I said, tone-wise, all over the place. Breath control was terrible. And because he kind of lacked breath, because he lacked a lot of breath control, his support wasn't really there for a lot of the places where it needed to be. And then if you know a Shawn Mendes song, he like flutters in between supporting, like going up into the breath, like little bit breathy, and then back down into a support. But Matt just couldn't nail those transitions. And also it seems like he tried to change he didn't try to change the melody, but he tried to change the way that the song, like the overall rhythm of the song. and it didn't work. It did not stick. It did not land. I'm not knocking him for trying something, but he should have listened to it back and been like, that wasn't it. I should redo this, but he didn't, and he released it. So here we are. And like I said, unfortunately, that was one of the better songs by him. And, yeah, it only gets worse from here. The absolute worst song that I heard by him was Honeymoon. And I do feel kind of bad because this was a song that he made to document his honeymoon. But that's about where my sympathy ends because, man, it was not good. His song, it was not good. Don't get me wrong. I fully understand the scaled back vibe that he was going for with the song, you know, having very, in the beginning at least, minimalistic instruments, just the acoustic guitar, and then slowly building and adding in instruments. I've previously stated that I like it when a song does that. It doesn't hit you with everything up front and then there's no change, but there's like a build to it because it builds anticipation. I get that. But when I was listening to the song, it wasn't anticipation that was building. It was dread. I am the law! It started off and his mic, I don't know if it wasn't EQ'd right. I don't know if he was just too close to it or what, because in the beginning of the song, his S's and T's are so sharp. And when it's just the S's and T's and an acoustic guitar, and the acoustic guitar, also the high-end trills are like almost ear piercing, and then you have super sharp S's and T's, it's a recipe for disaster. So literally within the first 5 seconds of the song, I'm already like, oh, this is disgusting. And then it doesn't get better. The S's and T's get a little bit better, and it doesn't sound like he's just standing right next to you singing, and it actually sounds like there's a little bit of space, which is the way it should sound. So maybe he leaned back from the mic when he was doing, you know, the verses and the choruses, but still, it did, like, the acoustic still maintained a problem, and then it just, yeah, I mean, he didn't do anything different enough with his vocals, like adding in any adjustments in the pattern or like adding in any dynamic runs or anything like that. He was just, it stayed the same, and it sounded like it wanted to be a pop song, but it didn't quite get there, and it just kind of sounds like a song. You know, like I said, it's a super scaled back song, and when you were going for a super scaled back like sound, you have to nail every single aspect of the song, because otherwise it's going to be super noticeable, because there's less stuff that you can use to kind of hide and mask the errors. And unfortunately, the details just weren't nailed, and it did not land. And I'm aware that this sounds like super nitpicky, but that was the first 5 seconds of the song and my first listen, where I was just trying to overall absorb the song. And I would be scared to see what would happen if I gave it an actual like critical listen, and I don't really feel like doing that. So
it's definitely a no for me, dog.
Yeah, it's now there is another song that he released, which was titled Still Not Enough. And arguably this is the song that got him into the most notoriety, but also the most hot water that he has ever released. Now, I couldn't give this song a true listen because unfortunately it was released, I think, around this time last year, and since then it's been taken down, or at least I couldn't find it. I don't know if he changed the song name or whatnot, but I really wasn't in to listen to any more of his music, if I'm being completely honest with you, so I couldn't find it. So the only clips of it that I could hear were in videos by other YouTubers. So it was already super compressed. The clip that they were using the most was from a TikTok. And in that TikTok, they were sitting in their car. So it's a recording of a car stereo uploaded to the internet, so compressed, and then downloaded and then uploaded another video, so compressed, and then compressed again. So yeah, I couldn't get a full comprehensive view of the song because of that. But I mean, the same problems as before plague this one. It's just trying to be pop, failing miserably, and just kind of ending up somewhere in the middle and not really in a genre, and it just kind of sounds meh. But the production of the song isn't what got him into hot water. It was actually the lyrics and the title. So he tried to mask it as, you know, the song about depression, but then if you, like I said earlier, take a cursory glance and read the titles, and maybe watch, if you're daring enough, watch a little bit of their content and what he decides to portray on the internet. Yeah, and then you read Still Not Enough, and you listen to the song, it could be very easily construed that he's bitter about the fact that he never landed a music career and that his family isn't enough to make him happy. But again, I can't really give a full analysis of all of that and like a lyric breakdown and whatnot, because I couldn't find the full version of the song. So it is what it is. Also, one thing that's unsettling about him, he's like always awkwardly smiling and like looking directly at the camera when he's singing, and it's just weird. I don't is unsettling. I can't really place it, but it's just really unsettling. But yeah, that's my breakdown of TikTok's most hated husband's music career so far. Let me know what you think down in the comments down below. I will be very interested to see what audience this video hits, if I'm being completely honest with you. So yeah, with all that being said, my name's been Harmonic Chaos. Hope you absolutely all enjoyed it. If there's another topic or, you know, something else that you'd like me to talk about, feel free to drop it in the comment section down below and I'll be sure to get to it. But until then, I'll catch y'all next time. God bless.